Enough, Boris. You talk of the people's rights. The people have only those rights which I choose to give them. And that is for their own good, believe me.
What's going on, YouTube? I am your villainous host, Dr. Rorschach. Hope you're doing well today. In today's video, I kind of wanted to talk about some recent speculation of mine that's been happening after seeing Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. If you haven't seen it by now, that's kind of on you. But with the recent Mr. Fantastic casting that could potentially lead to the main MCU storyline, it's had me really thinking about who should play the Fantastic Four's main villain, Doctor Doom. And while I don't think Doctor Doom is going to be in that movie, I think Victor Von Doom will be in that movie, just not as Doctor Doom, or Doctor Doom may be in the movie, but not as the main villain of the first movie. Doctor Doom's definitely going to be a villain that they set up and kind of develop more, similar to how they did Thanos. But I kind of wanted to sit down and talk about actors that I think who could play Doctor Doom, because it is a very physical role to play, not versus something like a CGI Thanos that was just more motion capture and voice there, but more of a presence and person have to be there to play Doctor Doom. So I kind of have some actors listed here that I wanted to talk about. And something I want to lay out first is, I think going from the comics to a movie, the two big things to capture with Doom are this godlike presence, but also a man who can show trauma and scarring behind emotions. And those are the two big things I want an actor to be able to capture that's trying to portray Doom. And realistically, I think there's only one actor that can really do both of those things as that character. And unfortunately, I'm not sure the likelihood of him playing the character, because that actor is Mads Mikkelsen. And some of you may have forgotten, I honestly do a lot of times, but Mads Mikkelsen was the villain in the first Doctor Strange movie. I can't remember his name, but I think it's honestly just so devastating that he was wasted in that movie for such a forgettable villain. No one talks about the villain from the first Doctor Strange movie. But Mads Mikkelsen, if you've seen any of his roles, such as in Hannibal, his role in the video game Death Stranding, and some of his other works, he's just so very good. And he has such a physical presence there, but can also show as more of a tortured artist kind of style. I really think he's the only person who could really be a great Doctor Doom in the MCU. But I do see that it does seem a bit more unlikely. I know that Mahershala Ali has now played two characters, and there's a few other smaller ones, so there is a little bit of hope, but not too much. But there are still some other really cool people that I would like to see as Doctor Doom. Second on my list here, I have Javier Bardem. Most notable for being in No Country for Old Men. A lot of people may have seen him in the final installment of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Jack Sparrow. I think the big thing about Javier is that he falls into the category of having that godlike presence. I think his voice also is a very distinct voice, which is important for Doctor Doom. I think he would be a great role for this. He is a bit older, but I still would be a-okay with them doing it. They could de-age him if they need to for flashback scenes into more of Doom's origin, depending on where they go with the origin stories for the Fantastic Four and Doom. But I do think Javier Bardem would be a fantastic casting. The third person on our list is also going to fall into a more of a godlike presence actor, and that is going to be, and forgive me if I mispronounce this, Nicolas Coster-Waldau. He is the actor who played Jaime from Game of Thrones. Now, I haven't seen him in anything outside of Game of Thrones, but he's obviously one of the breakout characters, one of the breakout actors from Game of Thrones. So I honestly think that this could be a big break for him to make that transition to film. He has that face, the square jaw, very muscular, bulky, perfect looking dude that could be such a great villain in the MCU and perfectly portrayed Doom, a man who had this perfect life and then fell and becomes a scarred human being and has to hide behind a mask. He could definitely bring a lot of physicality to the role. So moving on from this more godlike presence that I would expect of Doom, there are some other actors that I've talked about with people that don't so much have the presence aspect, but they can definitely bring the trauma behind it. And I have two actors listed there. Our first actor listed up would be Adam Driver. Adam Driver is an actor who I really like. He's one of my favorite actors acting right now. I think he could definitely bring the more tragic aspect of Doom to live action. He definitely, out of everyone on here, I feel like he would stand out the most for his looks wise, and he would definitely need to bulk up some for the role. But I would be okay with Adam Driver playing it. It would definitely be a very controversial casting. And my final personal casting of Doom would be Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy, who you've probably seen in a Christopher Nolan movie, most notable as Scarecrow in Batman Begins. Cillian can definitely bring a more traumatic part to Doom as well. I do think that he is a bit of a better actor than Adam Driver, and I don't think I've ever seen him in a more large, buffed up role, but I definitely think that he could be a potential casting for Dr. Doom if they decided to go that route of, tragic scientist, because Cillian Murphy definitely has that look of a scientist in a freak accident there. So that's all the castings I personally would like to see for Dr. Doom in the MCU. Will any of these happen? Probably not, but we'll see. With the John Krasinski casting and the most likely transition of him coming to the MCU, there is some hope, but the thing is that there isn't a lot of fans coming together for one person like there was with John Krasinski, and it's more just different opinions for Dr. Doom, but we'll see. And that is all I have for you guys today. I do appreciate you guys watching and hope you have a great evening.
Soon, Boris, it won't be a holographic image I hold in my hand, but the Earth itself.